सवैया जोत जीते इन्हीं के प्रसाद सुदान करे अक अवगटारे इन्हीं के प्रसाद इन्हीं की कृपा पुण्य धाम भरे इन्हीं के प्रसाद सो विद्यालय इन्हीं की कृपा सब सत्य मरे इन्हीं की कृपा के सजे हम हैं नहीं पोसो गरीब करोड़ मरे।
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. Sikhi is not the religion of the masses. It is the religion of the underdog, where the weak and the enslaved immerse themselves in Guru Nanak's Gyan, arise, shatter their chains, and shape them into swords with which to slay their oppressors. This, in essence, is Sikhi as it is, and as it was meant to be by the Gurus. And this is why Sikhi has always been under constant attack historically and still is even today, whether through Bhaichara fiction, boomer corruption, grooming of our children, or outright genocide, as is the case in India and Pakistan today. The Sikhs are the underdogs who are too dangerous to be allowed to live. In Sikh philosophy, we have the concept of Kultarna, liberating our future generations. And how this happens is that the Khalsa is the Sikh who enters the state of Gurmukh and becomes the Gursikh. Each and everything they do becomes a part of their legacy. And this legacy is the gift they bequeath to their future generations and the rest of humanity to inspire and influence them. Each and every Sikh Shaheed and each and every Sikh leader who has warred and battled for Sikh supremacy has imparted to us their legacy. And this legacy is what inspires us today during our darkest times. And whether at their worst or whether at their best, our Khalsa leaders of the past lived Sikhi like the Gurus showed them to, and how they wanted us to live it after them. And one such warrior leader was the fatherless boy who became king. He wasn't a king in the Western or even Eastern sense of the term. He was king by selection, selected by the Guru Panth Khalsa. He didn't earn his kingship through blood, he earned it through his own courage, perseverance, grit, resilience, drive, and Gursikhi. Who was this Sikh? Who was this Khalsa? He was Sultan Qaum Jathedar Sardar Jassa Singh Alhuwalia. His descendants at Kapurthala today are living off his achievements. The monuments, the edifices, the strategic infrastructure he built throughout Punjab is being destroyed by SGPC boomers, the Badals, and the Kar Seva clowns who have some sexual fetish for entombing just about everything in marble. But the history books speak for themselves. After Baba Banda Singh Bahadur, Nawab Kapoor Singh restored and restructured the foundations of Khalsa Raj, the monument of blood and bone built upon it of the Shaheeds that finally liberated Punjab from the false religions of Sanatan Vedic Hinduism and Islam, happened under Jathedar Jassa Singh Alhuwalia's watch and guardianship. Now, there are several comprehensive biographies of Jassa Singh Alhuwalia out there, but the most detailed and the most unbiased one is the one written by Dr. Ganda Singh. And before we jump into the life of Jathedar Alhuwalia, let's look at how Ganda Singh pieced together his life by collecting primary evidence and studying the detailed reports of both Sikhs and non-Sikhs. In his Gurmukhi edition of the Shri Gur Soba, Ganda Singh clarified that history on the subcontinent is intermixed with myth. In the West, history was made by men who were normal and thrust by fate into the maw of the beast. To put it simply, in the East, with reincarnation and other pseudo mystic nonsense flying around, fate was more than just a concept, it became some hyper overlived notion. So every time someone made history on the subcontinent, the historians, or what passed for historians at the time, did not just record what happened as it was, they also integrated myth making and other fantastical bullshit that to us seems unnecessary today, but at the time added more prestige to their chronicles. And one such source is the Shri Jassa Singh Binod Granth. This was prepared by a Sanatan Vedic Hindu Brahmin named Ram Sokharao, who was commissioned by none other than Sardar Fateh Singh of Kapurthala to prepare a chronicle of his granduncle's achievements and exploits. Ganda Singh used several records to verify Rao's accounts before making it one of his main primary sources. He first used Afghani sources, Persian sources, and then sources like the Shri Gur Panth Prakash and the records written by the English. Obviously, every source has its bias, but Ganda Singh used surgical precision to sift fact from fiction and verify the more authentic proportion of Rao's narrative while removing all his myth making. Rao was one of the first chroniclers to claim that the Kalal dynasty that Jassa Singh Alhuwalia founded was descended from the royal houses of the Patti Rajputs of Jaisalmer, who in turn claimed descent from the pimp god Krishna. Pimp god because he was always running after pussy. In Rao's mind, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia wasn't brave because of Naam and Rehet. He was brave because he was descended from Krishna. Krishna can be both a pimp and a simp, seeing how he was always simping for women as well. So, the fruits of the Vedic education system right there, if you're descended from a god who is both a pimp and a simp, yeah, you're gonna be brave. But this is just pure bullshit, and I will show why. What we know about Jassa Singh's genealogy, though, the real one and not the fake pimp simp one, comes from the history of the village Aluvar. So now, Jassa Singh was a Kalal from the caste of wine distillers. It didn't matter if they wanted to distill wine or not, the Sanatan Vedic Hindu caste system forced them into it. But there were Kalals with Ankh, and these Kalals teamed up with Sikh Jats and Sikh Khataris to start fighting against Hindu and Muslim Khataris and Jats. So, two such Kalals were hailed by the title Singh because they envisioned joining the Singhs of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Now, they lived off banditry, but they robbed from the rich to give to the poor, and this way they became pretty famous and also infamous for their exploits. So they were Bhais Sena Singh Kalal and his son Vadava Singh Kalal. They both joined Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji's forces eventually and performed daring deeds. In due time, they amassed a massive fortune and purchased land for themselves, setting up their own mini fortresses while continuing to preach the truth of Sikhi and converting hundreds, if not thousands, to the truth of Gurmat and the Guru's cause. Now, Vadava Singh's son Ganda Singh inherited both his father and grandfather's love and dedication for Sikhi, as well as the fiefdom they had built through the strength of their arms and the power of their character. So these were some pretty powerful men. Their power was pretty raw. So during Guru Harai Ji's war with the Mughals, Ganda Singh caused havoc around Lahore, compelling the Mughals to dispatch their commander, the Sulla Dilawar Khan, to subdue him. Ganda Singh ambushed and defeated Dilawar Sulla on several occasions, finally compelling him to give up and call for reinforcements from Delhi to deal with this troublesome Sikh. But just then, war broke out on the Multan front. Ganda Singh suddenly found himself fighting the same enemy as Dilawar, and in return, Dilawar gave him several villages to placate him. It was a strange situation, but Ganda Singh Kalal accepted it for what it was. One of these villages was Aluwal, and this became Ganda Singh's main headquarters. An uneasy peace settled on the land. Ganda Singh and Dilawar in alliance with each other. Ganda Singh used this as an opportunity to nourish the Sikhs under him and strengthen them. Dilawar dreamt of using the Sikhs as a potential ally against Lahore if things went his way. So, moving on, Ganda Singh Kalal died, and his son Sadhu Singh Kalal became the chief of Aluwal and surrounding villages. He was in love with a girl from his maternal parents' village, and contrary to established norms, he solicited her parents' permission and succeeded in wedding her. So Sadhu Singh Kalal had four sons and one daughter. One of these sons was Gopal Singh Kalal. Gopal Singh Kalal had a young son called Deva Singh Kalal. And Deva Singh Kalal shifted from Aluwal to Anandpur Sahib. He was a warrior in Guru Gobind Singh Ji's forces, and his young son Badar Singh Kalal also followed his father's footsteps in doing military seva of the Guru and the Panth. Both father and son were selected for and received Khande ki Pahal from Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Now, Badar Singh Kalal was married to the sister of Sardar Bagh Singh of Hallo Sadhu. Bagh Singh was known for his fiery spirit, and the 10th Guru blessed him that he will do seva of the Panth by burning alive the enemies of the Sikhs. So it was Sardar Bagh Singh who initiated the tradition of burning Sulle and Snatanis to ashes when they did Beadbi of the Guru Granth Sahib or killed Sikhs. So when the first Beadbi of Gurdwara Tham Sahib had happened around Kartarpur, that's when Bagh Singh actually took the governor of Jalandhar and burnt him alive. He dug a pit, threw him in, and then just burnt him alive. So he was known for his intelligence, handsome looks, but also his berserker fighting spirit and deadly ambush tactics. While Guru Gobind Singh Ji led the Sikhs from Anandpur, he also entrusted these minor Sardars like Bagh Singh to lead the Sikhs of their regions. So Bagh Singh was pretty high up in the Sikh hierarchy at the time. Now, history does not record Bagh Singh's sister's name, but she was renowned for her swordsmanship, her horse riding skills, her musical skills, and scriptural skills. She was truly the power behind Bagh Singh and Badar Singh's rise. This was a true Gursikh woman. She was the model of womanhood that all Sikh women aspired to and should aspire to. So you can put all the modern day Kashtis and Randia who call themselves Sikhs after Ungalmaring on OnlyFans on one hand of the scale, and Sardar Bagh Singh's sister on the other. Her merits and virtue will outweigh all of these modern sluts. And it was through her intelligence and sage advice that Bagh Singh and Badar Singh joined Baba Banda Singh and collected vital intelligence for him, often assassinating his enemies as well. Now, there is a Sakhi that recounts that one day Badar Singh was standing on guard and seeing Guru Gobind Singh Ji going past him. He looked at Maharaj with sadness in his eyes. So, seeing such disconsolation, the Guru turned around and asked him why he looked so sad. Badar Singh replied that he had no child despite several years of marriage. The Guru ordered him to call his wife and come into the Darbar. There, the Guru told him in front of the Sangat that the world calls Kalals Kanjar Kalals, that they're abused as belonging to the Manual Kanjar tribe and their women labeled filthy. But in Guru Nanak's eyes, the Kalals are Guru ke Lals, the sons of the Gurus. And he was also aware that Badar Singh's childlessness had made him the butt of many jokes. The Guru prophesied that a son would be born to Badar Singh and his wife through Guru Nanak's blessings, and this son would forever be known as Guru Kalal and he would find a mighty dynasty. Whenever the Guru Panth Khalsa passed through its darkest hours, they would remember this Guru Kalal and his Herculean spirit. And then, years passed, nothing happened. The 10th Guru's era ended, Banda Singh's era came, Bagh Singh and Badar Singh joined forces with Banda, collecting vital intelligence and recruiting and arming peasants for the Sikh cause. Then came Banda Singh's betrayal at Binod Singh's hands, and a mass genocide of the Sikhs by Sanatan Vedic Hindus and pedophile worshipping Muslims. And it was around this time, in this bloody era, that Jathedar Jassa Singh Alhuwalia was finally born in 1718. In 1710, pedophile worshipper Bahadur Shah, in alliance with Sanatan Vedic Hindu kings, declared a total genocide of Sikhs. From then on, the Khalsa retreated into the forests of Punjab. The territories built up by Badar Singh Alhuwalia and Bagh Singh Alhuwalia survived, but they were hard hit, forcing both Singhs into poverty. And it was in this dark period that Jassa Singh first entered the world. In previous episodes, we have covered how until 1724 this dark period continued against the Sikhs until the Khalsa arose in 1724 and avenged Baba Banda Singh by slaughtering Hindus and Muslims. But there was more. When Jassa Singh was 5 years old, Badar Singh passed away. This brave warrior in alliance with Bagh Singh and Dalip Singh Virk had considerably weakened the Muslims of the Sandal Bar by converting many of them to Sikhi and slaughtering the rest. Sardar Bagh Singh took over Badar Singh's territories and collectively united them under the Alhuwalia domain. He was a force to be reckoned with and became a close confidant of another rising Khalsa, Kapoor Singh Virk. So Bagh Singh actually moved over to Alhuwalia village as well, Alhuwal. By now, the Mughals were imploding. The Guru Matas, having converted many Jats to Sikhis, secretly entered Delhi and commenced staying on its outskirts. It was here that the young Jassa Singh and his mother joined them. Jassa Singh's mother became a renowned preacher and negotiator. The young Jassa Singh was meanwhile trained in the arts of war and statecraft by the Khalsa veterans accompanying Mata Sahib Kaur. The time finally came when Jassa Singh's mother decided to return to Punjab. Bagh Singh had no male heir and wished to adopt Jassa Singh and nominate him as his warrior heir. By now, Jassa Singh himself had grown into a young man. He had a slight stutter and intermixed his Hindi with Punjabi, but was otherwise a fine horseman and swordsman. So when he returned to Punjab, he was often harassed and bullied by the rougher Nihangs. Jassa Singh nonetheless persevered in his duties. Nawab Kapoor Singh made him in charge of feeding the Budha Dal's horses, and after seeing his resoluteness, conferred with Bagh Singh. Being unmarried and having no son of his own, the Nawab called a session of Panj Singhs at Akal Takht and there announced his desire to adopt two young men. So, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia would be his Panthak son. He would train him to succeed him, and if he lived up to his expectations, he would be his nominated heir to Jathedari of the Panth. Khushal Singh, Kapoor Singh's nephew by his younger brother Dan Singh, was made his second son, who would succeed him to lead one of the Budha Dal Jathas and inherit Singhpur, his ancestral village and his lands there. In this way, Nawab Kapoor Singh set in motion the rise of Jassa Singh Alhuwalia, who had proven his grit and determination. So from then on, Jassa Singh assumed the dual duties of leading the Alhuwalias as Bagh Singh became older, and also acting as the vice Nawab of the Panth under Kapoor Singh's guidance. In the many wars that followed, Kapoor Singh and Jassa Singh wiped out thousands of Snatani and Sulles who persecuted the Sikhs. Gyani Gyan Singh describes them in the Shamsher Khalsa like two rivers flowing together. Both of them flooded the banks of their wrath together and acted in concert. In peacetime, they were also calm and silent together. So, the same thuggish Nihangs who harassed Jassa Singh ended up declaring him as their commander, and it was well expected that after Kapoor Singh, Jassa Singh would become the commander-in-chief of the Panth. And so it was in 1753 at the Vaisakhi Sarbat Khalsa, Nawab Kapoor Singh declared and officiated the formation of the Khalsa Misls. These would be mini Khalsa republics led by 11 of the most deserving Khalsa youth. Jassa Singh was by then the head of the Alhuwalia Misl, having been declared and accepted as Bagh Singh's successor. But there was more to come. Kapoor Singh announced his intention to soon step down from his role as Nawab and commander-in-chief of the Panth. So because the Khalsa is a military theocracy, the commander-in-chief is basically the top dog. So an old bullet wound was making it hard for him to retain his clarity and ability in combat. At the October Sarbat Khalsa that same year, Kapoor Singh, the stalwart leader of the Panth, announced his intention to step down again. So the Panj Pyare asked him who would he like to see succeed him. Because after all, he was the one who had held the office of Nawab, he had held the office of Commander-in-Chief. Who did he think had the same qualities that the office required? The fact that they would officiate or not officiate that person just depended on who he nominated. So Kapoor Singh nominated Khushal Singh to be his successor to the Singhpuriya Misl, and he announced that the 35-year-old Jassa Singh was his nomination for Jathedar of the Panth. The rest of the Guru Panth Khalsa welcomed this nomination with Jakare, and so it was that Jassa Singh Alhuwalia became Jathedar Jassa Singh Alhuwalia of the Qaum. Leading 10 other Misls, his own Misl, and warring against the Afghani pedophile worshipping Sulle and Sanatan Vedic Hindus was no easy feat. But Jathedar Jassa Singh Alhuwalia executed his duties with stunning success. Even if the Sikhs were reduced to the back foot, Jathedar Alhuwalia ensured that the Sikhs soon regained their territory. Whether it was joining Adina Beg and then crushing him, routing the Marathas from Punjab and chasing them out, or confronting the Afghans and massacring them, Jathedar Jassa Singh executed these duties exceptionally well. His legendary valor during the Vada Kalukara, where he nearly slew Abdali and then after it rebuilt the Dal Khalsa, makes him a great Sikh leader. The unfortunate thing, and this is where I'll share my own personal experience, is that we have failed to share our heroes with the rest of the world. When I was younger, I used to excitedly pick up all these books on military generals to see if they mentioned, someone like Jathedar Jassa Singh Alhuwalia. They never did. But imagine what Jassa Singh Alhuwalia's legacy could give to the world of military scholarship today. Resilience, perseverance, adaptability, and what else? Lots of stuff. Because his entire life was one of doing good for the Panth by killing its enemies. The problem, though, with today's Sikhs is that they've become so soft that they find his legacy and his very existence an inconvenient fact. And to be honest, wherever he is today, Jathedar Alhuwalia probably sees us as parasites, leeching off his legacy but failing to be like him. Obviously, he had his faults. He minted coins in his name and the Khalsa penalized him, but he submitted without complaint, seeing the error of his ways. He also cultivated the Rakhi tax and brought many areas under his control without firing a single shot. He rebuilt the sacred Darbar Sahib and reconstructed Amritsar every time after it was demolished. In his life, he achieved a great many stunning victories, but also liberated Sikhs in Punjab for the long run. After Baba Banda Singh Bahadur and Nawab Kapoor Singh, he was the third pivotal Khalsa figure who paved the way for the Maharajah Ranjit Singh led Sikh Empire. Now, we come to two facets of his legacy that has troubled historians for many years. The first is his defense of Patiala. Kirpal Singh and Ganda Singh both argue that Allah Singh was never the maniacal traitor that he is made out to be by many modern scholars who have a grouse, and justifiably so, against Amrinder Singh. In reality, Patiala was the bastion from which Sikhs received their weapons from outside Punjab, and Allah Singh could not afford to be mobile and running around all the time. So this is why every time Allah Singh indulged a foe of the Panth, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia, following Nawab Kapoor Singh's advice, never attacked him. It was well understood by him that Allah Singh was doing what he was doing for the Panth and that it was his desperation, rather than anything else, that forced him to play dice with the enemy. Even when the other Misls wanted to attack Patiala, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia and Jassa Singh Ramgarhia both collectively defended it. Now comes the second facet, Alhuwalia's relationship with Ramgarhia. Much has been made of this. Did Ramgarhia slay his infant daughter, leading to Alhuwalia declaring him a Tankhaya? Previously, even I believed this, but fresh evidence in the form of Prithipal Singh Kapoor's biography of Ramgarhia and Sardar Gurdev Singh Rooproy's interview last year with us made me think otherwise. The whole daughter thing was created later. Unfortunately, Sikh scholarship has failed to study this rewriting of history by none other than who? Jathedar Kirpal Singh, who was affiliated with the Sanatani Nirmalas. Ganda Singh is much closer to the truth, and for this we need to picture the Punjab of the time. On one hand is Ramgarhia territory, because there was obviously a clash between Alhuwalia and Ramgarhia, but there was a reason for that clash, and it wasn't over the fact that Ramgarhia was evil or Alhuwalia was evil. So, on one hand is Ramgarhia territory, on the other Alhuwalia territory. They're not in any way or form close to each other. But there is one link. That is the Kanhaiya territories of Jai Singh Kanhaiya. They border both of these. Alhuwalia and Ramgarhia, remember, had mutual respect for each other. They had always fought side by side and were each other's close confidants. But Jai Singh Kanhaiya had other plans. He controlled access to the Kangra hills that were vital for Punjab's commerce. His territory also divided the major Alhuwalia, Ramgarhia Misls and Fulkia territories from Sukar Chakya territories. Now, the Sukar Chakiyas were in a very instrumental position because they controlled Punjab's borders with Afghanistan and were continually slaughtering those pedophile worshipping Sulle, having considerably weakened them as well. So Jai Singh Kanaya saw all this. His territory bordered the Sukar Chakiyas. They also divided the major missiles from the smaller missiles. And because he was in central Punjab, he decided that as long as he could keep the hills under him and his legendary cavalry could ride out, he could actually become the Maharajah of Punjab. So Kanhaiya controlled central Punjab, and in due time, he effectively divided the Tarna Dal missiles from the Budha Dal missiles over the Patiala question. He made them fight among each other because the Tarna Dal missiles, he kept on winding them up because they had younger Jathedars that Patiala was always betraying the Panth. But Aluwali and Ramgarhia never wanted to attack Patiala. And he knew that there was a lot of respect for Aluwalia, and these younger Singhs would never attack him openly. So he decided to make Ramgarhia evil. So what he presented the whole spectacle as was that if we get rid of Ramgarhia, we can pressure Jathedar Aluwalia into agreeing to attack Patiala, and that's it. And if Aluwalia refused to fall into line, then he, Kanhaiya, would have no problem marching upon him. So only the Karora Singhias under Baghel Singh realized what was happening and remained free of his influence. And what also made Kanhaiya so pivotal was his famed cavalry. Now, here comes the question: did Jassa Singh Alhuwalia fail overall because he was unable to rein in Kanhaiya? Remember, he was blessed by Mata Sahib Kaur, raised by Bagh Singh, and schooled by Nawab Kapoor Singh. So, in a way, he did not fail. What happened was he became a prisoner of time because he would die before he could unleash his final plan to unite all the missiles together. So Kanhaiya initially allowed him to hunt in his territories. He used to invite the Aluwalias in his territories. And one day when Aluwalia was passing through the Kanhaiya territories, he crossed over without noticing into Ramgarhia territories, and that's when Kanhaiya instigated Jassa Singh Ramgarhia's younger brothers who were hotheads to attack and capture him. So remember by now, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia was also known as Panth Padshah or King of the Panth. So a king selected by the Khalsa, but someone with, the prerogatives, not the prerogatives, but in a way the recognition and respect of a king nonetheless. So Jassa Singh Ramgarhia was horrified at what his brothers had done when he saw how they chained and dragged Alhuwalia in front of him. So he freed Alhuwalia and after profusely apologizing to him at Akal Takht, handed him prime Ramgarhia lands as penalty and several relics of the 10th Guru. And for all purposes, despite what Ramso Karao states, all the previous records state that Jassa Singh Alhuwalia was also embarrassed at what happened, and both men chose to forget about it. In due time, Alhuwalia returned those lands and relics to Ramgarhi and told them, "It's all good, your brothers are young, they're like my children, they're like my younger brothers, it's all good, don't worry about it." So, Kanhaiya, seeing his plot failing, now planned another fiasco. He captured one of Ramgarhia's younger brothers and killed him. So, after seeing his brother's mutilated remains hung in Kanhaiya territory on the border between Ramgarhi and Kanhaiya territory, Jassa Singh Ramgarhia led a massive attack that resulted in the Kanhaiyas appealing to the Aluwalias for aid. So Jassa Singh Alhuwalia and several other missiles marched to confront the Ramgarhias, not knowing what Jai Singh had started first. So Alhuwalia came, planning to make both of them drop their weapons and reconcile with each other. But the minor missiles, who also came in his wake, were all there on Kanhaiya's bidding to attack Jassa Singh Ramgarhia and force him from the Punjab. So, in his wrath, an inconsolable Ramgarhia attacked all the missiles that were facing him, and the Aluwalias were forced to defend themselves. But that's when most of the Tarnadal missiles joined Jai Singh Kanhaiya and finally marched into Ramgarhia territory and forced Jassa Singh Ramgarhia from Punjab. So he went to Patiala and beyond. So this exile would last for almost a decade. And in that time, Punjab would undergo great changes. So this is Jassa Singh Ramgarhia who's exiled. So Jai Singh's central position in Punjab allowed him to become a mighty power broker now that Jassa Singh Ramgarhia was gone. This was also augmented by the fact that he subsumed Charat Singh Sukarchakia's missile and made his young son Mahasingh his protege, acquiring control of Punjab's border regions and opening a corridor from there to his territories in central Punjab. On the other hand, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia was still the Panth Padshah, and he realized what the reality was. So, seeing the danger Jai Singh posited, he took it upon himself to counteract his influence and also at the same time prevent the British from inching ever closer to Punjab. So he reached out to Baghel Singh Karora Singhia, who brought reconciliation between him and Jassa Singh Ramgarhia. And the thing is, both actually seem to have forgotten their past clashes and they both chose to work together. So let's look at a timeline. In 1776, Ramgarhia is exiled from Punjab, but in 1783, he and Jassa Singh Alhuwalia join hands with Baghel Singh collectively to attack Delhi. They are the three supreme commanders of this attack. So remember, 1776, Ramgarhia is exiled, but in 1783, he and Jassa Singh Alhuwalia are the best of friends. So between 76 and 83, they both realize what has happened, how Jai Singh Kanhaiya has played them, but they also know that openly attacking Kanhaiya would actually, put the Punjab in a state of war, and this would allow the British to come closer. So it was best for them to play the subtle game. So it seems also that Ahluwalia did meet with Ramgarhia face to face, and both basically, hit upon the same conclusion that Kanhaiya was aiming to subdue all missiles to become Maharajah of Punjab himself. Even though Ramgarhia had clashed with Ahluwalia over his sitting upon the Delhi throne and being declared Badshah Singh without the Sarbat Khalsa's consent, both men were wise enough to see that Kanhaiya was a greater danger than whoever sat on some chair. So, this is why over the next few years, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia, actually over the next few months, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia arranged political marriages between the Alhuwalias, Polkias, and Pangis, finally winning the Pangis over to his side and arming them enough to present a formidable challenge to Kanhaiya's western borders if he was to move against the Alhuwalias and then over to the Polkia territory openly. So both Ahluwalia and Ramgarhia seem to have been working in consort and corresponding with each other over this issue. Both were well aware that Patiala was the emotional bait that Jai Singh Kanhaiya used to incite the other missiles. It seems Jassa Singh Alhuwalia planned to have Ramgarhia return to the Punjab, and together both missiles, or at least he envisioned it, both missiles would vanquish Jai Singh and take over central Punjab. Then they would focus on changing the missile structure to make it more permanent and extend total Sikh control until Patiala and beyond to stall the British. But fate had other plans. In October 1783, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia died in his sleep. So this fatherless boy who had become the bane of Hindus, Muslims, and other foreign aggressors in Punjab finally breathed his last. But his final action was to cement formidable alliances that started eroding Kanhaiya supremacy. And a twist of irony, Ahluwalia seems to have envisioned the future of Punjab under one supreme autocratic commander ruling through the Khalsa Panchayats and ratified by the Sarbat Khalsa. So one major missile rather than 11 missiles. The missiles, or at least the 11 missiles, had outlived their use, having become inconvenient overall. And 20 years later, in a way, Maharaja Ranjit Singh would complete his vision, but the outcome would be quite different because Maharaja Ranjit Singh actually brought over pure autocracy rather than one major missile. So the difference was Ahluwalia still wanted misildars. All the 11 missiles that were there, one would become supreme and rule over Punjab in the name of the Panth, and the other 10 would become its misildars. So there would be one Jathedar Sardar, one Sultan al Qaum, and all the rest would not be Sardars, they would become minor misildars. So from 11 missiles to one missile, and at the end of the day, only the most deserving would be selected to lead the Panth rather than any male ayar or female ayar. And while Ranjit Singh had this system in a way, though, he ended up going the other way. He started going the way of kings. So there are some significant achievements to consider here. So when floods were unleashed against Punjab in the 1750s, famine hit at the same time and suddenly the Afghans returned. At that time, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia was invited to Delhi to convert to Islam and assist the Mughals in restoring their domains. He refused, saying that even if Islam's holy pedophile Muhammad came to him, he would more than likely attack him with his sword. He also solidified the power and influence of the Khalsa Panchayats and Khargatari Jathas. His prestige, remember, was never inherited, it was always earned. And maybe this is why he was cremated within the Darbar Sahib, just like his predecessor Nawab Kapoor Singh. The highest honor the Sikhs could give to him at the time was given to him. He was cremated within Darbar Sahib. So, as Hariram Gupta says, he, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia, had the great privilege of conquering Lahore and issuing his own coin, and sitting on the throne of the Mughal emperors in the Red Fort at Delhi after conquering it. He fought a number of times face to face with Ahmad Shah Durrani, the greatest Asian general of his days. The invader tried to win him over in vain. The Maharajas of Patiala and Jind stood before him in all reverence and humility. The Rajas of Nalagarh, Bilaspur, Kangra Hills, and Jammu touched his knees. The Nawabs of Malerkotla and Kunjpura paid him homage, and yet he remained a humble and docile disciple of Guru Gobind Singh. In the person of Jassa Singh Alhuwalia, the Guru actually made a sparrow kill hawks. Now, remember, there are some more considerations as well. After the Vadda Kalukara, Jassa Singh Alhuwalia also fulfilled Baba Banda Singh's dream of reducing Malerkotla to ruins and avenging decades of persecution meted out on Sikhs by slaughtering its Sulla population. He was a general who followed only one dictum: total war. Raze the enemy's infrastructure right to the ground and wipe out his entire population. After his demise, his Misaldar selected his son-in-law Mohan Singh Alhuwalia to succeed him, but Jai Singh exercised his influence to nominate his cousin Pag Singh Alhuwalia. Nonetheless, the Alhuwalia-Kalal dynasty survived and continued on. After all, it was this dynasty that supported the Singh Sabha Lahore revivalists by financially funding it and providing it with legal backing. The spirit of Jassa Singh Alhuwalia continues to ride through his beloved Punjab, encouraging the Sikhs to arise and avenge its sundering. The question is, will the Sikh youth do it? Until next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
सवैया दुत जिते इन्हीं के प्रसाद इन्हीं के प्रसाद सुदान करे अक अवगटार इन्हीं के प्रसाद इन्हीं की कृपा पुण्य धाम भरे इन्हीं के प्रसाद सो विद्यालय इन्हीं की कृपा सब संत मरे नहीं की कृपा के सजे हम हैं नहीं पोसो गरीब